This is three-cornered leek, Allium triquetrum, which is in the same genus and therefore very closely related to a lot of supermarket favourites like onions, chives, leeks and garlic. It's quite common in the UK, except maybe Scotland. Particularly tends to be common in the southern and western parts of the UK. Although I'm here in Huddersfield, which isn't exactly south. You can find it and therefore forage for it pretty much all year round here in the UK. But I would say it's at its best from February right through to about April, May time. You'll find it growing on the edges of woodlands, a bit like where I am now, but you'll also find it in clearings, in hedgerows, verges, on flower beds, any kind of disturbed ground. It's native to southern Europe, so those Mediterranean type countries, and as such it is actually considered an invasive species here in the UK, which basically means it's something that spreads quickly and that we don't really want here. And as such it is actually illegal to plant this in the wild. You can eat all parts of the plant, and although there isn't much to them, there isn't much to each plant, they're quite slender, not particularly substantial, they do make up for that in sheer numbers. When you do find them, you tend to find them in great quantities. The leaves are thin and slender, and the flower stems have a triangular cross-section shape, hence the name three-cornered leek. Eventually the flowers will start to form, and that will initially be covered in a sheath before opening out to reveal the flowers themselves. And the flowers hang in clusters. Smell-wise, I'd definitely say it's more garlicky, but obviously it's best to crush up the leaves a little bit to really get that garlicky smell. But that's a really important key identifying feature, because there are a couple of things that it would be possible to confuse this for, such as bluebells or snowdrops, which believe me are things you do not want to be eating. But the key identifying feature, of course, is neither snowdrops or bluebells have that garlicky smell. And so if you've got something that does look like this and it does smell of garlic, then you're pretty much good to go. The other thing you could confuse this for is something called few-flowered garlic, also known as few-flowered leek, but that's perfectly nice and safe to eat, so it doesn't really matter. The main difference between the two, though, is that few-flowered leek has only one leaf per plant, compared to 2 or 3 leaves on three-cornered leek. And few-flowered leek also, as the name suggests, has fewer flowers. The flowers of three-cornered leek are not visible at the moment, but when they do come out, they have a distinctive green stripe running down the middle of each petal, which few-flowered leek does not have. Flavour-wise, I'd say it's a little bit milder than wild garlic, but very similar in flavours. You do get that oniony, chivy, hint of garlicky kind of taste. You can use three-cornered leek in pretty much the same way that you would the cultivated leek or indeed wild garlic. But bear in mind that for leek-based recipes, it's nowhere near as substantial as cultivated leek, so you'd need a lot more of it. It's generally best chopped into smaller sections like you would cultivated leeks, as it does have quite a stringy texture. And then you can just use it in salads and as a snack. You can cook it as a vegetable, you can use it in soups and stews, you can make pesto, you can use it as a seasoning. So loads of uses, and it's really nice.